Good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you to this webinar that we have today from CPA Site Solutions, and we're going to talk about an inside look at pay-per-click advertising. My name is Keith Washington. I'm the VP of Products here at CPA Site Solutions, and I'm joined by Norm Miller, who we call a pay-per-click expert, and he's much more than that, but we like to just call him pay-per-click expert for the purposes of this webinar. This will be a 30-minute webinar. And we will take questions, and I'll talk about that in a second. But this is really a quick webinar to give you really in-depth look at pay-per-click advertising from the way we at CPA Site Solutions think about it. But before we get started with that proper, I just want to point out again, this is going to be about 30 minutes of your time. It'll include a little bit of overview by me and then some in-depth looks from Norm. I am recording this session, so you don't need to worry about taking copious notes or copying slides with screen share. Anyone who has signed up or attended this webinar will get this, as well as, so you'll get a copy of the recording, which includes both audio and the slides. So you can feel free to just listen and relax. We also, as I pointed out, are going to take questions. Now, I can't hear you. If you can't talk to me, you should be able to hear me. But there's a little questions box in your GoToWebinar panel, and you can ask questions right there in that box, and I will, or Norm will, answer them and online, or we might do it if it's a question that everyone might be interested in. We may just read the question and state it, or if it's a private question about your particular situation, we can simply answer the question directly to you. So you have an opportunity to interact with us in that way. And finally, before we get started, I just want to point out that two things. One, for anyone who attends this webinar, we certainly provide incentives or specials for anything that we offer, but we also have a brief survey that we ask at the end of this webinar to help us continue to provide better webinars for you. So as you exit GoToWebinar, we really would appreciate if you just take a moment and answer the questions so that we can better service you as we go through some of the things that we have in our webinar series. So I'm going to start proper. I just want to take a quick look at something. Okay, I'm going to start proper right now. So thanks again for joining us. As far as an agenda is concerned, I just mentioned it for a second. I'm going to give you a quick overview of pay-per-click and talk about how pay-per-click advertising works. And then Norm is going to spend some time with an inside look into pay-per-click and then really give you some insight with a quick case study that we've shown with a customer of ours. So really excited to be able to provide you this information. Pay-per-click advertising, like many internet-based or online marketing or advertising, is permission-based. Most online advertising is called permission-based, and it really means this. It provides you with the opportunity to give a prospective client something that they're looking for when they're actually looking for it, i.e. when they perform an internet search. That's called permission-based online marketing tools because they've given you permission to advertise by performing an internet search. This is different from interruption marketing such as TV or radio. So imagine you're a consumer and you're relaxing in your home and a commercial comes up. That's considered interruption marketing. You didn't ask for a commercial on whatever the topic was, whether it be an automobile or some, a lot of times we're seeing, accident lawyer commercials or insurance commercials or medicine commercials. Those are called interruption marketing. Another form of interruption marketing is direct mail. It's not something that someone actually asked for, but you're hoping with this particular type of marketing to find someone, to match yourself up with someone who might be interested in your services. Online marketing really is about finding someone just at the time that they're actually looking for you. So actually, one of the great quotes from Seth Godin, who wrote this great book called Permission Marketing. One way to sell a consumer something in the future is to simply get his or her permission in advance. And that's what a lot of the online search marketing components are. And I'll talk about just some of the components of that. But if you think about this as a consumer, when you do a search on the internet, such as find an accountant or find a restaurant or restaurant near me or things that you're searching for, that's a perfect time for you to get an advertisement for a discount or to hone in on some of the details that you're looking for or the particular service that your product or service you're looking for right at that time. And that's, the power of permission-based marketing. Pay-per-click advertising is one form of permission-based marketing. Other forms of permission-based marketing are search engine optimization, social media, pay-per-click is a third one. And so there are lots of ways that you can provide marketing based on permission of a customer who's doing a search. But pay-per-click is an advertising model based on the internet that's used to direct traffic to your website by having people, advertisers like you. If you have a website and you want to do advertising, you pay the publisher like Google or Bing or Yahoo when your ad on the search engine's results page are clicked. So when you have an ad on a search engine's results page and your ad is clicked and it goes to your website, that's when you would pay for that particular advertisement. So it's really a cost per click model. And what I mean by that is you only pay when your ad is clicked, bringing that prospect to your website or landing page. You don't pay for a lot of early models had paying for impressions, number of eyeballs who see your particular item, or other advertising models. It's only when someone actually goes to your landing page or your website. Just to give you a quick look at this, to imagine that this is one page, one screen that scrolls all the way down. And I wanted to make sure that you could see both sides of the screen. But I typed in income tax preparation near me. And on the left-hand side at the top, which would be the top of my screen, you see 1, 2, 3, 4 ads. And you know that they're ads because it says ad right there. That means someone has asked to place an ad based on this type of keyword search, income tax preparation near me. And so Google knows where I am, and it provides the results that best match my needs, best match what they think that I'm interested in. And notice that I get Oxford Tax Help, Copeland, Benner CPAs, AccuAccount, H&R Block, of course, and then IRS, who's not advertising, but shows up pretty high because they have some pretty powerful searches. I also have a map here which shows some other search results, and then I actually see what's called organic search results, or things based on search engine optimization. So ads are pretty powerful that are being placed on top of the screen, and most of the time if you look at this, this is as far as my screen goes before I scroll. After that is where I'd see other information based on that. Assuming that I clicked on one of those ads, I just want to point out that just assume that I picked on something called Accurata Certified Public Accountants. When I clicked on their ad, I did not go to their home page. I went to what is called a landing page. And this is a targeted page that allows anyone who is involved in pay-per-click advertising to be able to direct a prospect to things that are relevant to them. So imagine that I typed in payroll services, business payroll services, and I got an ad from Accurata CPAs. I did not go to their homepage, which they may do tax preparation, payroll, they may do QuickBooks. What they did is took me to their landing page that focuses on payroll services and provides me some very important things. Number one, some targeted information about payroll services so that I can get a really good understanding of how that meets my needs. Buttons that allow me to schedule a consultation or call directly or contact them directly or subscribe to their newsletter. These are all what's called call to action items, and it really allows me as a business owner to really get direct contact with potential prospects and targeted contact with potential prospects without them wandering around on my homepage and getting lost and deciding to opt out. Just to give you an example, here is the Accurata homepage. Now notice, if I was taken to this from the ad, I'm not sure, without clicking around, exactly whether or not they offer payroll services. So being able to have a landing page with powerful keywords is important to being able to have a successful pay-per-click campaign. So I'm giving you a quick overview, but pay-per-click can really be an important and lucrative part of your online marketing strategy. And here's some of the reasons. Number one, it's targeted. So as I showed you, if I typed in a keyword search that was targeted based on some business item or something that I really was interested in, I can get ads and then go to web pages or landing pages directly focused on some of the needs that I have, thus increasing my chance of being willing to reach out to that particular business. Number two, it's local, meaning that if I type in search results near me, I get companies near me. So I'm not going to have to, as a consumer, see ads from someone who's far away from me and that I may not be able to provide the services. Two, you as a business don't have to pay for people clicking on a landing page or on your website and you having to pay for people who actually aren't prospects because they're not even in your neighborhood or in your town or even in your state or even in your geographic region. Third is 24/7. These online searches can happen even while you are not, even while you're sleeping. So someone could fill out a contact form, and the next morning you could get that potential lead. Pay-per-click is flexible. You control the amount of money you spend on pay-per-click. You control that on a daily basis and a monthly basis, and it allows you to determine how much you want to spend seasonality or based on how you want to run your business. And probably most important, it's measurable. You know exactly who came to your website. You know exactly who called you. You know exactly how much you're paying on a per-click basis. So this is different from you just deciding you're going to put an ad in the yellow pages and you're not sure if people called. Or if you want to do a direct mail campaign to a geographic region in your neighborhood and you're not sure who actually responded to that campaign. Most online activity, and especially pay-per-click, is a measurable component so that you can determine the true return on investment for your marketing investment. Pay-per-click, I just want to briefly talk about what pay-per-click is in terms of auctions. It is an online auction, and it all starts with a keyword. So just like I did, I can type in keywords for search that I look for something on Google. And really, billions of times every month, Google takes these keywords, and you saw in an instant, understands who the potential advertisers are, including you if you're participating in pay-per-click, and determines which ads to place on that particular search result. And this is how they do it. If they determine that you have a relevant pay-per-click advertising for something that a consumer searched on, they rank ads based on this. Number one, how much money you're willing to bid on a specific keyword, times your quality score. And a quality score is really how useful your ad is to the user. And Norm's going to talk to you about why it's so important to have ads that actually resonate with the user. It really is this concept of how relevant and how good your ad resonates with the market. And Google uses algorithms to determine that. So the higher your quality score, the better it is for you to actually get placed, to get your bid recognized, and then to have your ad ranked. I'm going to give you a quick example of how that works. There are 4 advertisers in this model. Now Google has 4, usually shows 4 ads, but assuming that they show only 3. Advertiser 1 said, I'm going to bid $2 for a given keyword. So if I typed accountant or payroll tax, and like advertiser 1, accountant number 1 said, I'm willing to bid $2. Accountant number 2 said, I'm willing to bid $4. Accountant number 3 said, I'm willing to bid $6, and accountant number 3 said, I'm willing to bid $8. You would think that Google will take the $8 bid higher than anyone else. But really what they look at is that the amount that you're willing to bid times your quality score. So in this case, advertiser 1 has the best ad, has the best user experience, the best keywords on their landing page, so they get placement number 1 because they take the quality score times your maximum bid and gave them an ad rank of 20. And as you can see, going down the line, advertiser 2 only had an ad rank of 16, advertiser 3 had an ad rank of 12, and advertiser 4, who was willing to pay the most money in the old days, would actually not even show up on the Google Ads. And this is really powerful because it allows consumers, really thinking how Google thinks, I want consumers to be able to find the best result for what they're looking for. So the person with the highest quality score wins. And I just really want to just, as I talked about, the auction runs billions of times each month, and it really helps that potential clients really find ads that are most relevant to what they're looking for, and advertisers, like you potentially, connect with potential clients at the lowest possible price. So the better your quality score, the lower you have to bid in order to get ranked. I just really quickly want to point out how you actually pay for these items. So in this case, where advertiser 1 through 4 paid $2, $4, $6, and $8, the way it's charged is that advertiser number 1 actually pays a cost of the amount of the ad rank of the person right below them times their divided by their quality score. So in this case, the ad rank of the person below them was 16. Their quality score was a 10. Google adds 1 penny to that, so $1.61 is what that person would pay if someone actually clicked on that ad. And you can see going forward that advertiser 2 paid $3.01 even though they bid $4. Their maximum bid was $4, but because they had a quality score of 4, the person below them had an ad rank of 12, so 12 divided by 4 plus a penny is $3.01. And so you can see that it's not just how much money you want to bid. It really is how good your ad is associated with what potential clients are looking for. And I think that's really interesting and important to know, especially as Norm talks about really how it works and some of the complexities of pay-per-click. If you've done pay-per-click in the past and you spent, $500 or $1,000 because you did it yourself, or someone called you and said they could do it for you and you had a bad experience, chances are that it was based on the fact that you had a low quality score, and therefore either you paid too much or had to pay too much to get ranked, or some cases you actually didn't get ranked at all, and it didn't cost you any money, but it also didn't provide you with any leads. So I actually go into this in a lot more detail, but it really is important to know and to spend some time with how we actually help clients get great quality scores and provide great ads. So I'm going to turn it over to Norm, who's going to give you an inside look.
Hey, thanks, Keith. So first I wanted to explain, for those that don't already know anyway, that we only provide these services, the PPC service, to CPAs and accountants, and I think you'll see, some of the benefit from that in this presentation. But I wanted to explain, that these are not cookie-cutter campaigns. Our campaigns are optimized for your individual firm and to provide the best return on your investment. So to do this, we start off with a 30-minute call where we, want to learn about your firm and your expectations and what areas you want to market. So we start that call by discussing, what areas you're interested in marketing for. One common mistake that people make is that they'll market for all the services on their site or all the services that they provide. Clients may provide payroll or help with IRS problems, but they may not want to market for it if that's not the focus of the firm. The challenge there with marketing too many areas is it limits the ability of the campaign to drive more leads for the more highly valued areas. And the reason that is AdWords uses a daily budget. So if you have a $400 a month spend for your campaign, it works out to a daily budget of about $13 a day. And some of these clicks, IRS problems in particular, could be $10 or more for one click. So in a case like that, you have a $13 a day budget, you get one click for $10, and your ads for all the other areas are essentially going to stop for the rest of the day. So our tried and true approach is to really focus on a minimum of 2, no more than maybe 4 or 5 specialty areas to launch the campaign. And during the call, we'll discuss which specific areas that you want to market for and focus on and dive into some of the detail of those areas. So the result will be that we'll be able to bring out in your ad and landing page the things that are going to resonate with a potential client looking for your service. Tax preparation is a good example. A lot of clients obviously provide these services, but not everyone wants to target, say, individual tax returns. If the focus is on business tax returns, it'll impact how we configure the campaign, from choosing keywords to the ad copy, the landing page, obviously, and maybe even scheduling the campaign only to run during business hours when those people are more likely searching. Then we look at the location considerations. Campaigns for service providers are highly geo-targeted campaigns. We want your ad to show only to your area, except in rare cases you don't want your ad showing, in different states, and you may not even want your ad showing in the city next door. So there are two ways that we target geographic areas. We target using location-based keywords, and we specifically choose the area that we want the ads to run. Location-based keywords, pretty straightforward. If you're in Seattle, for example, then we bid on Seattle accounting service or accountant in Seattle, that type of thing. And we choose the ads to run in specific locations by defining a city, list of towns, maybe a radius like 20 miles around your office. In some of the metro areas, Manhattan, Chicago, Los Angeles, we might even narrow it down to certain zip codes. So we want to know where you want your ads to run, and we might also look at areas where you might not want the ads running. For example, New Jersey, an area where there's towns with different net worth demographics that are all very close to each other. A solution for individual tax prep might be running those ads in those high net worth areas, but allow those business tax prep ads in payroll and all those other categories to run in the wider geographic area without limiting them in that way. We'll look at the ad schedule. We may decide to day part instead of running those ads 24/7. I previously mentioned, day parting for business tax prep, but we might also use day parting as a tool to manage a budget in a highly competitive area. So that'll be something we'll discuss during our kickoff call. Then lastly, we want to review any promotions or other marketing that you're doing so that the online campaign can be aligned with those efforts. If you have a direct mail offering $25 off this year's tax prep, we want to use that as a call out in the ad. And those types of call outs improve the rate which searchers who see your ad will click through to your site. Then from the kickoff call, we then go to work. We build out the campaign. We start by segmenting those marketing areas that we talked about into those ad groups. An ad group is really just a collection of keywords that is going to trigger a specific ad. An example is payroll accountant. For bidding on that keyword, we want to make sure that we show the ad for payroll and not a more general ad for local accounting service. And when they click on that ad, that they're taken to the page as Keith explained, that sells that service, that sells the payroll service. And that's one of the ways that you achieve those higher quality scores, is by having that consistency between the keyword, the ad copy, and the landing page. Then we build out the keyword list for each of the ad groups. Because we work so closely and only with accountants, we have a good handle on which keywords work better. People look for accountant more frequently than they do a CPA. Accountant is a stronger phrase than say accounting or accounting service. There's less volume, but it's more relevant to the product we're selling. Something like CFO services, it has lower volume, but that provides an opportunity to show those ads in a wider geographic area as a specialty or focus of the firm. And then you have areas like IRS help or tax problem, which are generally more expensive than, say, more specific searches like IRS notice or wage garnishment. So our goal is to maximize the keywords to get the highest response rate for the best keywords. And a very important part of that is knowing the match types that Google supports. There's 4 of them: the broad match modified, phrase match, and exact matches. In broad match, that's kind of the default that Google would use if you're setting up your own campaign. It basically lets Google decide what a match is. If you're setting up your own campaign, you might bid on tax preparation as a broad match and not understand that that could be triggered by phrases like good thing about income taxes, how much taxes do I pay, can I claim my boyfriend on my taxes? I've even seen that one. Those are all phrases that I've seen Google match for a broad match of tax preparation. And certainly those are questions you could answer, but they're not the kind of searches that lead to new business. And so that's why we focus on the broad match modified, where the search is improved by requiring certain words be included in the search phrase. So broad match modified of tax preparation just requires that the word preparation or close variation like misspellings or singular or plural are included in the search phrase. And then exact match, those are the best because the keyword we're bidding on has to be an exact match for what the person is searching for. So if we're bidding on best accounting firms, then that's what they have to type into Google to trigger that particular keyword. And the reason those are better is because they get higher click-through rates and conversion rates. Then there's also the negative keywords that we include. Negative keyword is really just a word we identify that prevents your ad from showing. Accounting firm is a phrase match, for example. Google will trigger if someone's searching for accounting firm jobs. Obviously, your firm is relevant for that search, but you don't want to pay to have someone send you a resume. So we prevent those types of searches by using negative keywords. By adding jobs, salary, free, cheap, a whole bunch of negative keywords we already have predefined, we can prevent your ads from showing when they're included in the search. It's also important that your keywords trigger the right ads. When someone searches on business tax preparation, or maybe more specifically partnership tax preparation, we can show an ad tailored to their search. And this level of customization not only improves those click-through rates, but also lead conversion rates. So we develop a campaign that triggers highly relevant ads for those highly targeted keywords, and when someone clicks on the ad, they're taken to the most relevant page on the site. And that page is designed to convert the searcher into a customer because it sells the service, which brings me to capturing those leads. Once the campaign is launched, it'll demonstrate a return on your investment by capturing leads in different ways. Historically, the easiest way to track leads was with tagged thank you or checkout pages on a site. When someone clicks on an ad and visits the site, if they fill out a contact form, we can track that activity. We can report those as conversions, and we can even see what keyword they searched on. But we also have other ways now that we can track conversions, including phone calls, which is really how people want to communicate. And how that works is we dedicate a unique phone number to your campaign, and when that phone number is dialed, it gets forwarded to your office phone, so you're still answering the phone the same way. And the way it works is when someone clicks your ad, they will be shown that tracking number, and that way when they dial it, it allows us to report on how many calls you received and how long those calls lasted. And you also get email notification as soon as the call is completed, including the caller number, caller ID, the date and time, and the duration of the call. Then we can track other information as well, like the newsletter sign up, where people still want to hear from you, but maybe in a more passive way until they're ready to engage as a client. If you use a third-party product like appointment scheduling, we might also be able to work with those so you can track how many people set up appointments with you. And so we can provide reports that detail not only how many clicks your campaign is receiving, but how many leads are being generated from those clicks, including how many phone calls and where those phone calls are coming from. And over time, this is what you can expect. All campaigns are frequently and closely monitored. As AdWords is an ad auction, as Keith explained, every location is different, especially in terms of quality and quantity of competition. We basically, tell Google how much we're willing to bid on each keyword. For example, we might say we're willing to bid $3 on CPA firm and find out that shows us in position 3, 70% of the time it's searched. But a $3 bid on CPA firm near me might only show in position 6, 40% of the time. Therefore, we'd likely increase our bid for CPA firm near me to have that keyword shown higher and more frequently. And there are hundreds or even thousands of keywords in a campaign. Over time, we continually adding new keywords. Remember, I talked about the match type. A long-term goal of optimizing a campaign is to be able to bid on those more aggressively, on those exact match keywords, and to rely less and less on those broader match keywords. And this is done by continually adding new keywords as they're identified. A little less frequently, we'll test the ad copy. If an ad appears to be underperforming, maybe it's not getting as many clicks as we think it should, we might test it against a new ad to see if we can improve the click-through rate. This is done a little less frequently because to successfully test and evaluate ad copy, you really want thousands of impressions before you're rendering a winner of an ad. And during this optimization, we'll of course be providing reports. Our monthly reports will show an overall summary, how many times the ads have been shown, how many times they've been clicked, the cost per click. But the report also will provide some more granular detail, like how many times ads in each category have been shown and clicked, and how much that category is costing versus how many conversions it's getting. And then in our quarterly consultation, we'll review those reports and make adjustments for what we learn. For example, we may find that payroll is too costly for the leads it's generating, so we might reduce our bids, or we might even pause it outright and then dedicate the budget that was going to that to the better performing ad groups. So, while PPC is the fastest way to get your firm listed on the search results, the real benefit in the long-term plan with PPC is where the campaign is constantly reviewed and optimized to bring in more leads as it continues. And one of my favorite success stories comes from a client in Fort Worth whom we've been running ads for since, I think, 2009. We were running a successful campaign in the immediate Fort Worth area. I spoke with a client, usually a few times a year, usually at the beginning of tax season, made sure everything was set up and ready to go. And we decided early on not to compete in the bigger, more competitive market of Dallas, and we used the setting in AdWords to show the ads only in Fort Worth. Well, after reviewing the campaign reports and consulting with the client, we learned that Google's IP targeting had his computer as being located in Dallas, even though he is really in Fort Worth. And what that meant was his ads were not showing to some people who may have been located in the area we were targeting. And I know without completely explaining the technology behind it, it might be a little hard to understand, but the point is, from that knowledge, we reconfigured the campaign, allowing the ads to be shown in the wider area, but only for those specific keywords. So if someone typed in Fort Worth accountant, tax preparation Fort Worth, but Google thought they were in Dallas, either correctly or incorrectly, his ads would still show. And by making that adjustment, we more than doubled, and in some months even tripled the number of monthly conversions he was getting. So just a quick review, our process again. Again, campaign starts with a kickoff call, and from that we build out a targeted campaign on the agreed upon categories. The ads will include shortcuts to key information, phone number, the location, or any special offers that you're currently running. We'll send you the ads and the landing pages we've developed for review, and once those are approved, we'll go live with the campaign, and we can actually start seeing leads coming to the site usually the same day. And then we'll track the return on the investment through those form conversions and phone calls. And then lastly, we continually optimize the campaign and include ongoing monthly reporting and those quarterly engagement calls to make sure we continue to implement the best strategies for your goals. And with that, I will hand it back over to Keith.
Great, thanks, Norm. One last wrap up. Just as I pointed out earlier, Norm and other experts here at CPA Site Solutions can help you with your pay-per-click advertising. I encourage you to take a look at this way of marketing your business and take a look at your marketing budget as we near the heavy season, the heavy part of the tax season, to see if you should allocate some of your marketing budget to pay-per-click advertising, and we can help. If you could just call us or send us an email at call us at 888-437-4794. Anybody who's attended this webinar, we have special discounts. All you have to say is I attended the Norm and Keith of the pay-per-click webinar, and they'll talk to you about the discounts that we have to help you get up and running on pay-per-click advertising. We're going to spend a few minutes taking questions if you have them. Just want to point out that all you have to do is fill out the questions or enter your question in the questions box, and we'll take a look at them and see if they are questions that we should answer verbally or just answer them online. That ends the official part of our webinar. So, you know, we want to thank you in advance if you're preparing to leave the webinar now. Just a reminder that this webinar has been recorded, and we will send the recording out to everyone. And I really appreciate everyone who's joined today, and thank you for your time. We'll just stay on for a little bit to answer any questions that you may have. And just a reminder, as you leave, don't hesitate, and we invite you to answer the survey, the brief 2 or 3 question survey that we have as you exit the webinar. It really helps us continue to provide a great service to you as CPA Site Solutions members. Thank you. I'm just going to take a minute to answer a couple of the questions that we